According to Harvard Health Publishing, over 50% of men over 60 in the U.S. are living with an enlarged prostate, but most of them think it's just part of getting older. The truth is, it's the small habits we repeat every single day, from your morning coffee to holding in your pee at night, that silently cause the prostate to swell. Did you know this? Drinking less water to avoid nighttime trips could actually inflame your bladder, and losing just 3 centimeters off your waist might help you sleep through the night without waking up 3 years ago. I met a patient, Mr. Charles, 69 years old, living in Arizona, every night. He got up 4 to 5 times to use the bathroom. He thought, well, it's just aging, but when we checked, his prostate had swollen to nearly 3 times the normal size. Here's the shocking part. He had no serious health issues, no infection, no disease, just not drinking enough water, because he didn't want to disturb his wife's sleep. If you believe this video might help someone, a father, a friend, a colleague, hit the subscribe button now. Together, we can spread real knowledge about men's health after 60. And coming up next, and you'll discover why chronic dehydration might be the most dangerous enemy to your prostate, one that's been hiding in plain sight. Most men over 60 think this: I'm not thirsty, so I don't need to drink much water. But according to Mayo Clinic, long-term dehydration stretched over years could be silently swelling your prostate, causing low-grade inflammation, and making you wake up more at night than anything else. I still remember my patient, Mr. Charles, 69 years old, from Tucson, Arizona, a very tidy, disciplined man. He told me I purposely stopped drinking water after 6 p.m. so I wouldn't wake up at night to pee. During the day, maybe just 3 glasses. I thought I was doing something good, but after 5 years of this habit, he started to feel burning when urinating, frequent urges, and the sensation that he hadn't fully emptied his bladder. When we ran the tests, his prostate had nearly doubled in size and showed signs of chronic low-level inflammation. You see, our body needs water to dilute the urine and flush toxins from the urinary tract. Without enough water, your urine gets concentrated, more acidic, more salty. That irritates the lining of the bladder, causing it to contract harder, putting direct pressure on your prostate. And here's the thing. After 60, your body's natural thirst signal weakens, so you might be dehydrated and not even know it. If your urine is often dark yellow, has a strong odor, or you pee less than 4 or 5 times a day, you might already be chronically dehydrated. And if you're on diuretics, blood pressure meds, or have heart conditions, your risk is even higher. So don't wait until you feel thirsty. By the time you feel thirst, your body is already running low. Just one small change. Take a sip of water every 30 to 45 minutes. Aim for clear or pale yellow urine. This alone could ease the pressure on your prostate, reduce inflammation, and help you sleep through the night after all those years of midnight bathroom trips. If you've ever intentionally reduced water to avoid nighttime urination, share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else realize a mistake before it's too late. And now, there's something even more harmful than not drinking enough water, sitting for hours every day. Without realizing, you're silently crushing your pelvic region and putting pressure on your prostate. Let me tell you a surprising story about this. Coming up next. Did you know? Just sitting too long each day, whether it's on the couch or your favorite recliner, can slow your blood flow, put pressure on your pelvic area, and silently cause your prostate to swell. Day by day, according to Cleveland Clinic, men over 60 who sit more than 6 hours a day have nearly double the risk of urinary problems and enlarged prostate compared to those who move more frequently. Let me tell you about Mr. William, 74 years old, retired after 40 years as an accountant. He told me, honestly, I don't really go out much. Coffee in the morning, news in the afternoon, Netflix at night. I probably sit about 8 hours a day. He thought he was enjoying a quiet, peaceful retirement, but recently, he started feeling a heavy sensation in his lower belly. He couldn't empty his bladder fully. Sometimes, he'd finish urinating and feel like he needed to go again. His ultrasound showed mild prostate swelling, not dangerous, but enough to cause real daily discomfort. Here's what happens. When you sit too long, your body weight presses down on your pelvic floor, right where the prostate sits beneath the bladder. That long-term pressure reduces blood flow, lowers oxygen to the prostate tissues, and leads to chronic inflammation, eventually causing the gland to enlarge. Even worse, prolonged sitting weakens your pelvic floor muscles, the very muscles that help you control urination. The result: more frequent urges, more nighttime trips, and that frustrating feeling of not emptying completely. If you often sit for 2 hours or more without standing, if you spend over 5 or 6 hours a day in a chair, or feel pressure in your lower belly, even when your bladder isn't full, your prostate may be asking for more care than you think. The prostate doesn't scream for attention, but it does steal your sleep by waking you up again and again. To go to the bathroom, you don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to run marathons. Just stand up every 30 minutes. Take a few steps. Stretch your hips. Give your blood flow a gentle nudge. Let your prostate breathe. Pelvic health isn't just in medicine bottles. It lives in the small steps you take each day. Let me know in the comments below. How many hours a day do you sit without standing up? I'd love to hear your story and maybe help you make a small change that brings real relief. And if sitting slows your blood down, there's something else. Something you think wakes you up each morning that may be exhausting your prostate all day long. I'll share something most people completely overlook, but it's critically important in the next part. A warm cup of coffee in the morning. It wakes you up, lifts your mood, maybe even becomes a sacred ritual after retirement. But here's what most people don't realize when caffeine goes beyond the limit. Your prostate is the one paying the price. According to the National Institutes of Health, caffeine is not just a diuretic. It also triggers bladder muscle contractions. That's why older adults often feel sudden urges, incomplete emptying, and wake up more often at night. I once spoke with a cheerful Italian gentleman, Mr. Enzo, 72 years old, living in Florida. He laughed and said, "Doctor, I don't have many addictions, except espresso. 3 cups a day, 1 after breakfast, 1 after lunch, 1 at sunset." I asked if he had any urinary issues. He sighed. "I always feel like I have to go. Sometimes I step in the house, and before I can take my shoes off, I need to pee again. And every night I wake up at 2 a.m. like clockwork." We didn't make drastic changes, just reduced him to 1 morning espresso and replaced the afternoon cup with herbal tea, no caffeine. After 10 days, he called me, "Doctor, I just had my first full night's sleep in 7 years." Caffeine is a natural diuretic. It tells your kidneys, make more urine. At the same time, it makes the muscles around your bladder tighten, so you feel the urge to go. Even when your bladder isn't full, it also stiffens the tiny muscles at the base of the bladder, right where the bladder meets the prostate. This causes incomplete urination. Leftover urine builds pressure, leading to irritation and low-grade inflammation. If you drink more than 2 cups a day, or if you drink coffee after 3 p.m., and notice frequent urination, sleep trouble, or bladder irritation. Caffeine may be silently overworking your prostate. Coffee isn't the enemy, but drinking too much or at the wrong time is. You don't need to give it up. Just make peace with it. Stick to 1-2 cups per day. Best in the morning, in the afternoon. Switch to herbal tea, warm water, or decaf if you still want that comfort. Remember this, alertness can come from balance, not just from caffeine. How many cups of coffee are you drinking each day? And have you ever noticed a link between coffee and your nighttime urination? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. And now, do you know what's worse than coffee in the afternoon? It's when you feel the urge to pee, but you hold it in because you're busy, in a meeting, or behind the wheel. Next, I'll tell you a true story about what happened from just one time holding it in. I'm busy, I'm driving, I can hold it, I'll go later. These harmless little phrases repeated every day might be quietly pushing your prostate toward chronic inflammation and dysfunction. According to Cleveland Clinic, regularly holding in your urine is a hidden risk factor for urinary retention, bladder infections, and irritation of the prostate tissue, especially in men over 60. One cold morning, I received an emergency case at the clinic. Mr. Dennis, 68 years old. He came in clutching his lower abdomen, unable to urinate, his face twisted in pain. Turns out, he had just taken a long 3-hour drive to visit his daughter, and the whole way there, he held it in. I figured I'd just wait and go once I got there, he said. But when he arrived, he couldn't go anymore. We had to insert a catheter and drain over 800 milliliters of trapped urine. It wasn't life-threatening, but it took him nearly 2 weeks to fully regain normal bladder control. Here's what happens when you hold in urine for too long. Your bladder stretches beyond its healthy limit. That stretches and strains the prostate too, which sits just below the bladder. The pressure causes congestion, irritation, and makes the prostate more prone to inflammation. Repeat this over and over, and it can disrupt your urination reflex, making it harder to go, causing incomplete emptying, and leaving stagnant urine behind. That stagnant urine becomes a perfect place for bacteria to grow, which leads to urinary infections, which further irritate the prostate, starting a vicious cycle. All from one harmless habit. If you often wait just a few more minutes, or delay going until you get there, or ignore the pressure in your bladder because of work or errands, it's time to start listening when your body speaks. As we age, our bladder and prostate become more sensitive, and they can't tolerate the same stress they once did at 30. Don't wait for the right time to pee. Go when your body asks. Urination is not a nuisance. It's a message one worth listening to. By simply changing this mindset, you can protect your prostate, your bladder, and your precious sleep at night. Have you ever held in your urine because of work, driving, or just not wanting to be bothered? If so, share that moment in the comments below. Let's remind each other to listen to our bodies when it matters most, and if holding it in stretches the bladder too far. There's something else you eat every day that might be messing with your hormones and silently causing your prostate to grow in a very sneaky way. We'll talk about that right after this. A juicy steak at dinner, a slice of deli meat in your sandwich, or a quick box of sausages on a busy night. They may seem like tasty, convenient choices, but behind the flavor, these foods may be quietly disrupting your hormones and making your prostate grow day by day. According to Harvard Health, a diet high in red meat and processed foods is directly linked to chronic inflammation and testosterone imbalance, two major triggers of prostate enlargement in men over 60. I remember Mr. Howard, 66 years old, from Texas. He walked into my clinic with full confidence. I eat clean. Doc, breakfast ham sandwich, lunch hamburger, dinner grilled steak. Protein's gotta be high quality. Right, then he paused. Well, lately I've noticed it's harder to pee, weaker stream. And I wake up 2 or 3 times every night. I just don't get it. His lab showed early signs, lower free testosterone, slightly elevated inflammatory markers. Not dangerous. But his body was clearly reacting to a diet overloaded with animal protein and saturated fats, red meat, especially processed ones, like bacon, sausage. Cold cuts contain nitrites, excess salt, and saturated fats. When consumed often, they can trigger long-term inflammation, especially in the prostate, which is highly sensitive to irritation, disrupt hormone balance, lowering testosterone, raising estrogen, and stimulating abnormal prostate cell growth, alter cholesterol levels, and weaken the immune system, making it harder for your body to recover from inflammation. If you eat red meat daily, if your breakfast includes sausage or deli meat, and if you rarely eat leafy greens, fresh fruits, or nuts. Your prostate may already be suffering in silence. It won't scream for help, but it will whisper in the form of a slower stream, a weaker flow, and sleep interrupted by those frustrating nighttime urges. You don't need to give up red meat forever. Just scale it back to once or twice a week, and instead, try fatty fish like salmon or sardines, steamed or grilled chicken not fried, plant-based proteins like lentils, walnuts, almonds, anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, tomatoes, and dark berries. Your prostate will thank you, and you'll feel the difference. In every restful night of sleep, how often do you eat red meat each week, and have you tried replacing it with fish or veggies? Share your story in the comments. I'd love to suggest a few prostate-friendly meals if you're open to it. And here's something many men overlook. Even if you eat well, if your waistline keeps growing, your prostate could still be in trouble. In the next part, we'll talk about a specific type of belly fat that releases inflammatory chemicals every minute of the day. Some things grow with age. But your waistline shouldn't be one of them. Did you know just 1 extra inch on your waist can raise your risk of nighttime urination, urgency, and prostate inflammation by up to 20–30%. According to Harvard Medical School, belly fat isn't just about appearance. It acts like a silent endocrine gland, releasing inflammatory chemicals into your body. Every single day, Mr. Thomas, 71 years old, was a careful man. No smoking, rarely drank, always slept on time. But each checkup left him puzzled. Why do I still wake up at night to pee? Even though I'm doing everything right, we reviewed his numbers. Blood pressure normal, blood sugar stable, but his waistline. 41 inches, 105 centimeters. And that was the one thing he had overlooked for years. He always thought, my belly's just part of aging. Every older guy has it. But that's not the truth. Belly fat, especially visceral fat, isn't just sitting there. It's active tissue, secreting inflammatory cytokines that enter the bloodstream and reach your prostate. Not only that, belly fat also raises estrogen and lowers testosterone, disrupting the balance your prostate depends on. Pushes against the bladder and pelvic floor, creating more pressure leading to nighttime urgency, lowers insulin sensitivity, affecting metabolism, and causing chronic hormonal imbalance if your waist is over 39–40 inches. If your pants feel tighter, even without weight gain. Or if you're waking up more than twice a night to pee. Your belly fat may be silently tipping your hormones out of balance. And here's the truth. This can't be fixed with pills. It starts with lifestyle. You don't need to crash diet. You don't need to starve yourself. Just begin with small shifts. Walk 20 minutes a day. Slow down your eating by 20%. Cut back on sugar and fried foods. And most importantly, get enough sleep. Because poor sleep raises hunger hormones and traps fat around your belly longer. Just trimming 1 to 2 inches off your waist could cut your risk of prostate-related night trips by 40%. Do you know your waist size right now? If not, grab a tape measure. Check it and share it below in the comments. I'll walk you through some simple steps to begin changing it. But sometimes, belly fat isn't the most dangerous thing. What's worse is silence. When you skip your checkups, avoid asking your doctor, and have no idea what's happening inside your own body. Coming up next, I'll share a story that forever changed how I see the phrase, I'll see a doctor when something shows up. I feel fine. I don't want to hear bad news. It's just the prostate. It doesn't hurt anyway. These are the phrases I hear most often from men over 60. But here's the truth. The prostate doesn't cause pain, but when it finally speaks up, it's often too late. According to the American Urological Association, nearly 80% of severe prostate enlargement cases are caught late, simply because men never went in for a checkup without symptoms. I'll never forget Mr. Thomas, 65 years old, a retired carpenter, tall frame, strong voice. He came in one day and said casually, my stream feels a bit weak, probably just the cold weather. Doc, but check it anyway. For peace of mind, well. His PSA levels came back above the safe range, and his ultrasound showed early-stage prostate enlargement. Thankfully, he came in early. No serious complications yet. We worked together, adjusted his diet, improved his sleep, and kept regular check-ins. 2 years later, he's still healthy, still fishing, still laughing that big, bold laugh. And he once told me if I hadn't come in for that weak stream, I'd probably be on meds now, or worse. You see, the prostate doesn't have strong pain nerves, even when it's swollen, inflamed, or growing abnormally. It often stays silent. That's why routine screenings matter. PSA blood tests and a simple digital rectal exam. DRE can detect benign enlargement early. Spot prostate cancer risks before symptoms show. Allow lifestyle and nutrition changes before medication or surgery becomes necessary if you wait for symptoms to appear. Or if you're over 60 and have never had your PSA checked, you may be gambling with your prostate health and your quality of life in later years. One checkup, just 30 minutes. One result could protect your sleep for the next 5 years. You don't need to go every month, just once or twice a year, especially after age 50, or after 45 if prostate issues run in your family. Let's stop thinking of checkups as looking for trouble. Start seeing them as how you protect your freedom, your vitality, and your power to age on your own terms. When was your last general checkup or PSA test? Leave a comment below, or tag a friend or loved one who should get checked this week. Your reminder might be exactly what they need, and sometimes the real reason we avoid checkups isn't lack of knowledge. It's stress, worry, and not wanting to face what we might hear. But the truth is that very emotional stress, if left unchecked, can inflame the prostate, disrupt hormones, and quietly steal the peace from your sleep. Next, I'll share a deeply personal story that changed how I understand this silent, emotional cause. There are things you can't see, can't measure, but they affect your health more than any number on a chart, and stress is one of them. According to the National Institutes of Health, chronic stress doesn't just raise your blood pressure or steal your sleep. It also disrupts male hormones and worsens inflammation in the prostate. I remember Mr. David, 70 years old, who came to see me feeling exhausted. He said, "I don't have any disease, but I always feel tightness in my lower belly. I can't sleep deeply. And every morning I feel the urge to pee even after I just went after asking more." I learned his wife was undergoing treatment. His son had lost his job, and he had been carrying the financial burden in silence for nearly a year. No smoking, no alcohol, decent diet, but his cortisol, the stress hormone, was nearly twice the normal level. His prostate wasn't acutely inflamed, but it was congested, and his pelvic floor showed signs of muscle tension and spasms. Once he started doing simple morning breathing exercises, took short daily walks, and gave himself permission to rest, his symptoms noticeably improved in just 3 weeks. You see, when you're under stress, your body releases cortisol, a hormone meant to protect you in the short term. But when cortisol stays high too long, it throws off your testosterone balance, making your prostate more sensitive, inflamed, and slower to recover. It tightens your pelvic muscles, leading to urinary frequency, urgency, or dull pressure below. It disrupts your sleep, which blocks your body's ability to heal tissues and restore hormone balance. This creates a chain reaction stress, hormone imbalance, low-grade inflammation, all inside your body. If you don't diffuse the tension, if you wake up feeling tired, even after a full night's sleep, if you feel unexplained pressure in your lower belly, or if you tend to urinate more when you're anxious, it may be time to listen to your emotions, not just your physical symptoms. Your prostate is deeply affected by your emotional state. It needs inner peace, more than you think. You don't need to retreat to the mountains or retire in a quiet countryside. You just need small steps each day. Breathe deeply for 3 minutes each morning. Write down one thing you're grateful for. Turn off the TV 30 minutes before bed. Talk to a friend just to share a laugh. These steps are more powerful than any sleeping pill. Have you been feeling stressed lately, even just a little? If so, drop one simple word in the comments. You don't need to explain, just a keyword. You might realize you're not alone in this journey. And if you've stayed with me this far, it means you understand something very important. Prostate health isn't found in one pill or one number. It lives in the small habits you choose every single day. Coming up next, a special message for the men who are quietly navigating one of the most important chapters of their lives. If you're still watching at this point, there's something I want to say first. You've made it further than 90% of people who ever clicked on a health video, and that tells me something powerful. You don't just want to live long, you want to live well, to live with intention and with dignity. I've seen many men walk into my clinic in silence. They didn't complain, they didn't show pain, but their eyes told another story. They were tired of suffering from things that could have been prevented years ago. And I've also met men like Charles, Thomas, and David. The men I shared with you today. They weren't perfect, but they made a choice to change one habit, one belief, one small action, and through that, they reclaim their sleep, their confidence, and above all, their freedom in older age. You don't have to change everything overnight, but if you wait until your body screams for help, you may lose some of the most precious years of your life because the prostate doesn't hurt, but when it finally causes pain, it's no longer easy. Health doesn't come from hospitals. It comes from the choices you make each day. A glass of water in the morning, a walk after 30 minutes of sitting, a dinner without red meat, a full night's sleep after years of restlessness. These small things stack up to become the strongest shield for your aging journey. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for staying with me until the very end. That means you truly value yourself, and I'm honored to walk this road beside you. In the comments below, tell me what's the first change you're ready to make after watching this. I read every word, because sometimes your story might just be the spark that inspires someone else to begin. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, just remember this. The most important things in life don't arrive when we're searching. They come when we're ready to receive them. Don't let the next video be something you say, "I wish I'd seen this sooner." In the videos ahead, I'll continue sharing science-backed, simple, and deeply inspiring ways to help you not just live longer, but stand stronger every single day.